Hey y'all, how are you? How are you? So, okay, so today's topic is kind of piggybacking off a conversation I had with my daughter last night. Yeah, and she's 7 years old. She's the youngest of two children that I have, and I have a stepdaughter as well. So I have three in the mix for me. But anyway, she's 7 years old, and she is the most intellectually advanced of my entire family. Why? Because she still connected a lot with the spiritual realm, which is good, right? And she came in a time where I'm not fearful of anything that can't be seen with the physical eyes, and not fearful enough to allow her to just be her honest self. So last summer when she was here, she did that painting back there. And I remember the morning she woke up and she was telling me about this dream that she had. She was like, I had this dream and the angels told me, and she was telling me about the dream. And I always like to document things or to write it or to draw it. So I said, Tiffy, go ahead and I want you to draw exactly what you saw in the dream. So this is what she drew. And she didn't complete color in it, but it was always special to me. She does a lot of art, but this one was the biggest piece she did, meaning on the big canvas. And I left it there because I said this year I'm going to let her complete it if she wants to. But however, the reason why this is special to me also, months and months and months afterwards, I learned that this message that she received actually happened. It was a meteorite that came extremely dreadfully, almost fearfully close to our planet, to Earth. However, I have observed that it wasn't very much publicized. For whatever reasons, I can say I agree why it shouldn't have been publicized, but at the same time, sometimes it's good for people to understand how much support the earth has. Because when she did this, the reason why she has the angel in it, she said to me, but the angel said there's a ball of fire and it's coming right for earth, it's coming right for the planet. And she was kind of in a hissy, and I was like, what do you mean a ball of fire? She says a ball of fire is coming right for the planet. But the angel said, don't worry, because they're supporting her. They're going to hit it away. That's her way. That's, at the time, that's her 6-year-old way of explaining it. So this is the artwork she did. I wasn't here when she did it, but when I came from the office that day, she presented it to me, and I was like, wow, that's amazing. Didn't think much of it, but months and months and months afterwards, for some synchronized reason, I came upon somebody talking about this meteorite, that this scientist talking about this meteorite that came so close to the earth. And I thought to myself, that's the painting. And they're saying it was coming so close to the earth, so very close. And you see, we have this whole lot of magnetic shifts and all these things happening on the planet. And people don't try to educate themselves about what the effect of one thing can do and another thing can do with satellite system, with everything electronic that you have. However, I'm not trying to go into that. I'm just saying this to say that there's really, really so much happening behind the scenes that we don't know, and a lot of it isn't publicized either. And I think the choice is made because they don't want to cause mass hysteria. And that's the reason why many things that I do dream, I don't come in here and speak it either, especially when they're dreams where by the time it's finished, a guide or an angel says, yes, it's coming. However, don't be fearful or fear not. You just leave it and allow it to happen, because a lot of things needs to just happen the way it's already planned, it's already choreographed, and just, let the chips fall where they may. There's one thing that she said to me. She said, the angel says, just make sure that you're kind and everyone's kind to each other. And to keep the kindness, she says, keep the kindness. I don't remember her exact words, but it was like, keep the kindness afloat. And if you keep the kindness afloat, it will give them the strength to keep protecting the planet. Okay? So I'll say that to say this. Last night she said to me, I want to write a book, which is kind of strange. I do books, and I've done books with her before, so I'm privy to it. But she said, I want to write a book. And I said to her, why do you want to write a book? She said, I need to write a book to teach kids how to deal with bullies. So I found it interesting, and here's why. For the past maybe 2 years, her first 2 years in the school she's going now, she's had a bit of challenges with what she calls experiences with bullies. My daughter is of a thicker set. She's not, and because of that, I think, and she's also big 4'7". She's big for her age. She's taller, and she's had this one boy that she's talked about, like for the first year of school. She always took and say, he says mean things and all this type of stuff. Now, I'm a mother who's quite away from her because I'm in New York and she's in Jamaica. So I always wondered how to deal with it. So for the first month or two, I was like a little bit upset, like a mother would be. You'd be like, you know what? I need to talk to her teacher, tell her teacher, listen, tell that boy, leave my daughter alone. However, I'm happy that by the second month, I realized I can't do this because what it's going to do is cripple her. And here's the reason why I want to say this. They say from the mouth of kids, every time somebody is unkind to you, every time somebody says something unkind or does something that is not of love, it gives you a hit. It takes a hit. And every time somebody does something that's unkind, if you're still standing there, if you're still standing in the way of it, while you're taking these hits, sometimes it leaves bruises. It can be temporary. Also, it can cause effects on your self, not your soul. Your soul is unaffected, but it can cause an effect on yourself that is permanent if you're not careful, if you're not aware of what's happening, yeah? So because I didn't want that to happen to her, I kept thinking to myself, how am I going to do this where she now understands that she is not going to absorb what's coming from this child? But at the same time, I don't want her to hate this child because, everyone is of God. Everyone has the possibility to give love. The persons who choose to withhold love, they also can give love. And many times they do. You will have somebody that you totally despise because they're unkind to you, but you watch them with their families and you're angry, like, how can they not see that he's an evil person because he's so unkind to me? Because the same person who gives bad also has the capability of giving good. They choose what they do. So with this, I started to go through the second year with my daughter, breaking down the psychology of a human being and how people think and how good can come from bad and bad can come from good. It's only from the choices. And I'm kind of happy I did this because you know what she said to me? When she said she wanted to write this book for kids to know how to deal with bullies, I was a little bit surprised. But then I said, what would you tell them? And she said, I want to tell them that bullies change. Do you know this boy who always, and she was telling me the things that he was calling her and stuff. And he said, I told him, do you not know that God doesn't like that? Do you not understand that you're working for the devil and not God? When you die, you're going to have to answer to God for that. And she said she kept telling him that. And, instead of complaining to the teacher, she would say to him, she said the last time she said to him, who hurt you? Somebody must have hurt you. This is a 7-year-old. And I'm listening to her on the phone and I'm recording her at the same time because I'm taking notes because I'm serious about this book that she wants to do. I'm going to help her to do it. So she said to him, who hurt you? Somebody must have hurt you. And the person who hurt you, they're going to have to answer to God too. But that doesn't mean I'm going to take your garbage. This is her on the phone. That doesn't mean I'm going to take your garbage. You need to find a garbage collector because I'm not taking your garbage, okay? That's not my garbage to take. You better learn to be kind to people. Otherwise, you're going to be a big garbage bin. And when she said that to me, I started laughing and she got serious. She said, Mommy, it's no joke. It is not a joke. I need to tell children. And she was telling me about another one of her friends that somebody was unkind to, and the friend was crying. And she said to me, they don't understand. It hurts her. It hurts her. And how am I going to teach her to let it go? Because now she has the garbage on her. She has his garbage on her. And it hurt her and it made her cry. And I was hugging her and she was still hurt. You know why? Because she believes what he said. And I don't want her to believe what he said because he doesn't know what he's talking about. So I'm here taking notes and recording. And you know what? This 7-year-old just literally gave me the blueprint. Because not only kids deal with bullies, not only kids deal with people who are unkind, we deal with it with our families. People deal with it in their relationships, dealing with a narcissist or somebody who's just not looking at you as equal, which makes relationships unbalanced. This 7-year-old just literally taught me the blueprint to everything. So her solution is being kind even if somebody's being mean, but not just doing that. I'm not going to say everything that she told me, because when she comes here, she's going to be here in a few weeks. When she comes here, I'm going to sit down and allow her to articulate word for word, page for page, what she wants. And the only thing that I'm going to have an input in is just to help her to create the background or the backdrop of the book. I have this idea of beautiful, magical backgrounds, but whatever she wants, I'm putting in that book for her. Because she took it so seriously last night that I'm making this video now. And I had to start by talking about this painting that she did. Why? Because these kids that are coming in now, please allow them to be as creative as they were made to be, because they're channeling energy from angels. They're channeling energies from guides, from ancestry. Everything that we fail to do, these children are coming in without an apology, without fear to do what we thought. I don't want to do it because what will they think, and they don't care. They are just passionate about something. And if your child is passionate about art, don't look at it and say art's not going to make money. Not everything in the world is about money. And what I have learned is the universe, God provides for you in ways you cannot imagine. Allow our children to be creative. Allow them to be free thinkers, free speakers. I'm not talking about being arrogant, but being free to speak what you're thinking, because a lot of times they're carrying messages that we need to heal as the adults, and they're the ones who chose to come here to change. These kids are going to change the world if we step out of the way, okay, and nurture them and guide them, but not bombard them with programming of limitations. These children do not believe in limitations. They know that they are more than flesh and bones. They know, I don't know, it's like they know that they're on a mission. They know the assignment, and they're choosing their different portals, what we're going to do. This one is here to help people to be compassionate. The kids on the spectrum, I don't know how to watch a video or be around a child on the spectrum and not literally just feel as if I'm around angels. See, I'm having goosebumps now because my guides showed me what the kids on the spectrum see and how they see the world, and the assignment that they chose to take coming in, and the parents and the caregivers of these kids. And there's so many ways of spectrum. There's so many kids are also undiagnosed because they don't need to be diagnosed. They don't need to be studied. They need to be observed. And their caregivers were also chosen, not because they know everything. They were chosen because they knew that they had the compassion and the big open heart to allow them to be themselves. And the outside world does not give them enough support, and you roll your eyes because you don't understand why a mother with a kid on the spectrum has the hair that's discombobulated, or a kid that's too happy for the world, because they're seeing a world that your two eyes can't see, but they can perceive it. Or a child who comes in a room and they're just very uncomfortable with this space because they're not just sitting in a room. They are now connected with every energy that comes off every person in this room, in this classroom, in this shopping center, in this park. And their bodies, to process it, is a little bit different from yours because they're hearing somebody over there saying something. However, their mind is thinking something else. These children, spectrum and not spectrum, they come in with the truth. They come in with the meter already up and connected. If you're a BSer or you're not a BSer, you know what I mean? They know, they feel what we forgot to feel. Do you know what I mean? I went 14 minutes. I didn't want to go so long. I think I went off topic a little bit. But anyway, this is about the kids that are coming in and how powerful they are. Please allow them the freedom to be the powerhouses that they chose to come here to be, and allow them to change this unkind world, because they're so connected to the angels. They're so connected to God. We all are, but they are even more so, that they really can single-handedly change this world and all the muck and all the chaos that we've caused with ego and greed and wanting to contain something that's not containable, wanting to put in a box something that cannot be boxed in, wanting to own the religion and the culture and the belief and the career, wanting to own everything for ourselves, and instead building prisons with ourselves inside and being prisoners to money and to fame and all this craziness. These kids see beyond that. They see your heart. So, okay, let's give them a living chance and stop judging them so much. Because when you judge them, you judge yourselves. They're the future us who have come back to do better. So let's allow them, okay? See you in the next one.